Tonight, Duncan Hunter is firing back, saying he is the subject of a political smear campaign.
How would you be doing today? Doing good.
The court motions filed late Monday allege Congressman Duncan Hunter used campaign money to pay for affairs with lobbyists and congressional aides. The 5 women were not identified in the motions, but prosecutors say the romances began in 2009, shortly after Hunter took office. They allege Hunter illegally used campaign money, quote, to pursue these romances wholly unrelated to either his congressional campaigns or his official duties as a member of Congress. Prosecutors say Hunter used the funds to pay for hotel stays and late-night Uber rides after visiting the women. Hunter's trial on campaign's finance violation charges is set to begin in September. His wife, Margaret, has pleaded guilty and faces up to 5 years in custody at her sentencing on September 16th. The new motions confirm that Margaret Hunter may cooperate and testify against her husband at his trial. CBS reporters caught up with Congressman Hunter in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday. He offered this response.
I'm going to trial on this, right? So I'm not going to give you a statement on their allegations, except that they are criminally political prosecutors who violated the Hatch Act. This is political, and it's a smear campaign.
The Hatch Act Hunter referred to is a 1939 law that prohibits certain governmental involvement in political campaigns. Hunter has filed his own motion asking the judge to throw out the charges altogether on the grounds that his prosecution is politically motivated.